What up, world? R.I.C.H coming right back at you. My next topic, I want to get into this Chris Brown situation. Chris Brown was denied bail in a foreign country, charged with inflicting grievous bodily harm, a nightclub, a bottle, and an alleged unprovoked attack. And now Hood Baby, yes, his close friend and music producer, is also facing the same type of charge in the United Kingdom. And this ain't TMZ and this ain't Hollywood. This is real time and this is a real court. And the British court said to one of America's most famous entertainers,
no bail.
Not for a drug case, not for a firearm, but for an assault allegation in a nightclub. And in my opinion, this is the ghost of reputation, the residue of past pain, the penalty of a history that followed you into every courtroom and had something to do with every decision. And let me be clear, I'm not saying the man is guilty, and I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm saying he's in a fight where the burden of proof is not just legal, it's spiritual. Because when you're Chris Brown, every mistake you ever made walks into that courtroom before you do. And in this case, they might as well have set his past at the prosecutor's table.
And Grammy-winning singer Chris Brown is facing serious legal trouble overseas. A UK judge just ordered the 36-year-old to stay in British custody on a charge of causing grievous bodily harm. He's accused of attacking a music producer in a London nightclub. Let's bring in ABC's Lama Hassan in London for more. Lama, what's the latest on these charges against Chris Brown?
Yeah, hey Diane, what we know is that Chris Brown was arrested in the early hours of Thursday morning at his hotel in Manchester in northern England. The Metropolitan Police released a statement late last night saying that after an investigation by detectives, they're charging him with, as you said, grievous bodily harm with intent. Now, this charge relates to an alleged assault that dates back to February 2023 after he allegedly attacked a music producer with a bottle at a nightclub in London. It was described as an unprovoked attack in which the producer was struck several times with a bottle. Brown then allegedly pursued him to another area of the nightclub where the victim was punched and kicked repeatedly. Now, in the hearing today, which lasted about 30 minutes, bail was denied, the judge saying that the offence is a serious one, and she reportedly deemed him a flight risk, even though his lawyer tried to argue that he's a public figure and he's followed by photographers. And so essentially his every move would be well documented. Now, in terms of what happens next, the judge ordered him to appear at Southwark Crown Court here in London on June 13th, which means that he remains in custody until then. And just a reminder, Diane, that Brown was meant to be kicking off his tour on June 8th. Diane?
All right, Lama Hassan, thank you.
Now, let's look at this objectively. A high-profile artist, multi-platinum, Grammy Award-winning, world tour coming up, and yet no bail?
Why?
Well, the British prosecutor is not playing. They called it an unprovoked attack, and they said a weapon was involved. And this took place in a crowded club. And if you think that don't carry weight, then you don't understand international law. Overseas, especially in the UK, they don't care about your hits. They don't care about your streams. They care about perception. Right now, Chris Brown's perception is a liability. But here's where it gets deep. This is about how fame doesn't protect you anymore. It exposes you. It's a magnifying glass, a spotlight that never turns off. And if you have ever been associated with violence, that light burns brighter. Now let's talk Hood Baby for a moment. Another American artist and another man behind the scenes. Also charged with GBH, grievous bodily harm.
With intent.
Intent, that means it's not just some drunken scuffle. The authorities believe this was purposeful and deliberate. And that word intent opens a whole nother door. But here's what most people won't say. If this happened to a different artist, a different face, a different history, they might be out on bail. They might be back on tour. But this is Chris Brown, and his past is not letting him breathe. And maybe, just maybe, some of that is his own fault. This man has been in headlines since he was a teenager, from being the next Michael Jackson to nearly losing it all. And to be fair, he's made music, he's apologized, he's done interviews, he's performed, but life don't always forgive on your timeline. Society doesn't always move on when you do. The system remembers, the internet remembers, and whenever something happens again, all that history comes screaming back. So what do we do with this? Do we cancel Chris Brown? Do we wait for evidence? Do we defend him? Here's my take.
We watch.
We wait. We hold space for the truth to emerge, whatever that may be. But we also got to have a deeper conversation about what happens when you've been given chance after chance after chance, and you still find yourself at the center of these type of headlines. That's not bad luck. That's a pattern. I'm rooting for redemption. I always am. I believe in growth and I believe in grace. But grace ain't a get out of jail free card. And if you're somebody who's been given more opportunities than most people ever dream of, you got to protect that. You got to elevate, not regress. Because if you don't, you end up in a foreign courtroom, in cuffs, staring out the window of a prison van, wondering where it all went wrong. And to the young artists out there watching, learn from this. Fame don't save you. Money don't protect you. And your past, if you don't truly deal with it, will follow you to the ends of the earth. So to Chris Brown, if you're innocent, fight. If you're guilty, own it. Either way, remember this. The world ain't watching you to see if you fall. They watching to see if you stand up different. But you can't stand up if you never sat down and looked in the mirror. Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.